We're talking with John Vaughn, the executive director here for Douglas Ark. And John, you just finished your year-end recognition ceremony for your staff here. First of all, we recognized for last January through December employees of the month, correct?
That is correct.
And how many employees selected?
Okay, we have about 30 members here. And it's a staff that does the selecting. It's a majority rules. It's not always a unanimous vote. A lot of times it is it's down to a tie or maybe one that does break it a tie. It all depends on time on task. It depends how great they are. What they improved this month over last month. At the time that they are given the employee of the month, they receive a $25 check. And at the end of the year, then everybody at our annual dinner that we make open to the public to go over our last year, we give each of those employee of the months a plaque, a certificate with their name and the month that they received it on.
In your presentation earlier, you gave some highlights and some very active reports that Douglas Ark has been working on. If you would kind of reiterate what you shared earlier with the crowd here tonight.
Okay, if I can remember my cheat sheet. We talked about the opening our new store, or it's the We talked about the thrift store. It's been very successful. This is our second year into our new location. It's 8,000 square feet. The building is. That's done very well. And this past year, I think it was end of April, we opened up and started a dented can store. It's so it deals with dented cans. It deals with some stuff that may be expiration date, but like a canned good, even though they might have an expiration date of January 26th, the FDA says it is actually, in the Department of Agriculture, says it's good till January 27th. So it does have a long life on it, and everything we do is all approved by the USDA. So we did open that up, and part of the reason it was opening it up was to give our yard crew guys that are out there at 110 degree heat a break. They're out there like this morning is in the 30s at 9 o'clock in the morning. They're out there trying to get those. They're in their 60s now, late 50s, 60s. We're trying to get them somewhere where it's a controlled work environment, and that's why we opened up that store. We talked about some of the challenges this past year. We talked about water heaters that we had to replace, which also required, before they were actually hooked up to the current gas line, the entire building had to be pressurized, and we found that it's no building. The gas lines, the new gas lines are 30 years old, and they found leaks, and those all had to be fixed before they could bring the new hot water heaters up online. But that's been, we went about 3 weeks with our Senior Nutrition Project kitchen, didn't have gas to cook with, but we made it through that and back on par. We get brand new hot water heaters. We're good to go with that. We also started our building that we owned across the street at 531 9th Street. We're in the process of remodeling it. It's been sitting empty for several years. It had a collapsed roof in it. We brought in a structural engineer and an appraiser, find out is it best to tear the building down and start from scratch, or is it to rebuild? And they're telling us that it's cheaper to fix it than it was to knock it down and rebuild. Even a metal building, it was cheaper to fix what we had, so that's what we're doing. They figured it would be half the cost if we started with a brand new building. So that's where we're at. We're fixing that up. We're hoping to maybe move our grocery store down at that location and open up a snack shop in the downtown Douglas area. And once again, we do have some yard crew guys that are still out there in the field. There'll be another climate controlled environment that we could move them into because of the brutal environment that we have here. I think that's it. We talked about some of our long-term staff that retired.
They were. You didn't mention. You mentioned the names, but I couldn't hear you.
Okay, one of them mentioned was Ana Cordova. She's been with us for 37 years. She retired at the end of September. Another one was Molly Santa Cruz. She had to retire for health reasons. She's in Tucson now. taking care of her health, and the other one was Ramona Ramirez. She was the head of our kitchen, and she retired, I believe, about the end of August. So total employment was 85 years of history.
Wow.
They had with it. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Yeah, I have to say our staff is good staff. We don't have a lot of turnover rate. The turnover in this industry is 300% per year on normal. So that's every position turns over 3 times. And so to get somebody that has got 17 years and 37 years and 31 years is pretty impressive.
And you started here what year?
I started here in December of 1983. Now I thought I was here long enough just to get me past the Christmas rush. But at the time, Phillips Dodge had closed the smelter. Douglas was having a tough time. So Douglas Ark paid the bills, so I stuck it out, and they stuck with me.
43 years.
Yeah. I think it was 42 in December.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've been executive director how many years?
Since December 21, I became executive director.
Okay. And what's it been like being the ED of this place?
It's been pretty, it's been pretty amazing. When you're here this long, you see some things you might want to change, but you're afraid to ask, and for whatever reason. And so now I'm not afraid to ask. I ask the board. And the board's been very gracious and has seen what I've seen in the future. Like I said, they looked around the building. They saw the facilities that need to be fixed. They looked around. They saw the need of getting our people out of the cold weather, and we just do something with the two thrift store and the grocery store. I can't say enough good things about this board. They're very, very involved and they're very willing to try anything.
Well, not only the board support, but the community support still.
Oh,
you
yeah.
You don't have to cake auction anymore.
We
But
don't
it
have
seems
to
like
cake auction.
you're
Yeah, we don't
still,
have to cake
you're
auction
still
no more, but our Mother's Day fundraiser bringing almost $15,000. The community is awesome. Chevy Flores, we gave him an award, presidential award today. He does all our backflow preventers in all of our buildings, and he never charges us. I mean, the community is just awesome. We gave another presidential award to Mike Sexton. He's retired from Safeway, and I said he's in for a penny, in for a pound, because through the year he was helping us to get the grocery store up and going in the Food City parking plaza, and he's been helping me at the 531 9th Street building. And out of curiosity, he said, he asked one of the board members, "Is there anything I can do?" And they said, "Yeah, we got a vacancy." And so they voted him in tonight. So now he's committed big time. And their other presidential award was to a young man, Julian Gonzalez. He's a farmer. He grows stuff. He makes a living raising plants. And through his program that he's got with USDA, I don't know who it's with, but he can donate the stuff to us, and they will pay him for his vegetables. So he's preventing us not having to buy lettuce, not buy onions, not buying zucchini, not having to buy cucumbers. So yeah, the community is awesome in this town. It really is. You can't go wrong with that.
As you go into 2026, what's your goal? What's your plan for this year as you go forward, John?
Well, forward is the 531 9th Street building.
Okay.
I'd like to see.
You see that coming to fruition here pretty soon then?
By the end of the year, I'd like to see it open. We're in the middle of, it's a slow work in progress. It took us many months, almost a year, just to get the electrical box put in, because everything has to be approved, has to be special ordered out of Phoenix. We're a small little agency, and big business elsewhere, they get priority over us. I think it took us something like 11 weeks. No, it took us 11 months to get that electrical box. It's just crazy that we see things like that happening. They say APS only approves one manufacturer in the state of Arizona. Once we got the electrical box in, now we're doing pretty good. We've got the water hooked up to the building. We have a sewer hooked up. We got an electrical box in. Of course, we're not tied into the big electrical box is not tied into the APS yet. We're still using temporary stuff because we still got to dig trenches and stuff like that. But so we're a long way from opening the doors. But yeah,
Let's
I
get
think it's
closer.
gonna happen. I think it's gonna happen this year. I really, it's gonna be probably towards the end of the year, I see it. But yeah, we're predicting that hopefully the building itself might be done somewhere around May. And
So in closing here, anything you want to throw out there that we haven't addressed tonight?
no, I don't think so. I think we're doing pretty good. Just thank to the community for all the support that they give us.
Okay, you're listening to John Vaughn, the Executive Director from Douglas Art. John, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your report with us.